Ever feel like you're speaking an entirely different language from your neurotypical family members? Or that you and your neurodivergent child experience the world in completely opposite ways? You're not alone. Today, we're talking about what it really takes to support both neurodivergent and neurotypical family members in a way that fosters connection instead of conflict. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Nostalgic Neurodivergent, where we talk about neurodivergence, parenting, and life, served with a side of nerdy Zennial energy. I'm Corey, and today we're tackling a challenge that so many neurodivergent moms face: creating a home that works for both neurodivergent and neurotypical family members. So, whether you're a neurodivergent mom raising a neurotypical child, a neurotypical mom raising a neurodivergent child, or just trying to navigate a mix of both, this episode is for you. In this episode, we'll cover why neurodivergent and neurotypical brains process the world differently, the most common friction points in mixed neurotype families, how to foster understanding between neurodivergent and neurotypical family members, and practical strategies for meeting everyone's needs without burnout. So let's start at the beginning. Why do neurodivergent and neurotypical brains process the world differently? And there are fundamental differences in how these brains work. This isn't just a preference thing, this is backed by neuroscience. Research shows that neurodivergent individuals often experience differences in dopamine regulation, executive function, sensory processing, and emotional regulation. For example, studies on dopamine pathways in ADHD brains show that neurodivergent individuals often require more stimulation or novelty to stay engaged, whereas neurotypical individuals may feel overwhelmed by the same level of input. This is why what feels exciting or motivating to a neurodivergent person might feel chaotic or unnecessary to a neurotypical person. On the flip side, many autistic individuals experience heightened sensory sensitivities, meaning that background noise for a neurotypical family member might be completely overstimulating for them. Understanding these brain differences is absolutely key to reducing frustration and building empathy. So, growing up, we didn't have the words for things like sensory overload or executive dysfunction. We were just labeled as picky, lazy, or overly sensitive. Now we know better, and that means we can do better for our kids too. So, now that we understand the science behind it, let's talk about what this looks like in real life. So, if you've ever thought, why does my neurotypical child always need an explanation for everything? Or that could apply to your neurodivergent child too. Or why does my neurodivergent child melt down over something that seems small? Or why does my partner struggle to understand my need for downtime? You're not alone. Some of the most common challenges in mixed neurotype families include different communication styles. So many neurodivergent individuals may prefer direct, to the point interactions, whereas neurotypical individuals might rely on more social cues and implied meanings. And let's talk about sensory conflicts. One person needs music to focus, while another needs complete silence. And we have routine versus spontaneity. Neurotypical family members may crave the structure, or some neurodivergent families may crave the structure, while neurodivergent family members might thrive in more flexible environments, and vice versa. And we also have emotional regulation differences. Neurodivergent individuals may experience emotions more intensely, while neurotypical individuals might struggle to understand why certain things are so triggering. The key here isn't to fix anyone. No one is broken here. It's about learning how to work with each other's brains instead of against them. So do you remember when we had to print out map quest directions and hope that we didn't make a wrong turn? That's what navigating the neurodivergent and neurotypical family dynamics can feel like without the right tools. It's downright frustrating. But once you have the right frameworks, everything makes way for more sense. So, how do we bridge this gap? Here are just a few strategies that you can try. Teach the why. Help your neurotypical family members understand neurodivergent needs by explaining the why behind the behaviors. For example, I know you don't mind loud music, but my brain processes sound a lot differently and I need a quiet space to think. Use visual supports and written reminders. More often than not, neurodivergent individuals process information better through visuals or step by step instructions, while neurotypical family members may rely more on verbal communication. Create buffer zones for sensory needs. If one child thrives on movement while another needs stillness, establish different activity spaces to meet both needs. And validate experiences without minimizing them. Avoid saying things like, "It's not a big deal," or just ignore it. Instead, say, "I see that this is hard for you. Let's figure out a way to make it easier." The goal is not to make everyone function the same way. The goal is to create a family dynamic where everyone feels heard and supported. And let's be real. Trying to accommodate multiple neurotypes at once can feel overwhelming, especially when you're also managing your own needs. So, how do you balance it without burning out? Number one, you set non negotiables. So, some things like safety and respect are firm, but allow for flexibility in other areas. Number two, rotate sensory friendly activities. So, for example, if one family member thrives in quiet environments and another loves excitement, alternate between the calm and active outings. Number three, prioritize the co regulation. Instead of forcing a neurotypical child to just deal with it or a neurodivergent child to calm down, focus on co regulating as a family. And number four, give yourself grace. There is no perfect way to navigate this. What matters is that you're trying, adjusting, and learning along the way. Think of it like a co op video game. You don't win by making every character the same. You win by figuring out how everyone's unique abilities work together to beat the level. So now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Sometimes it feels impossible to meet everyone's needs at the same time, and that's okay. The goal isn't to get it perfect every time. The goal is to create a home where everyone knows that their needs matter. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need the willingness to learn, adjust, and support your family in the way that works best for them. And if this episode resonated with you, be sure to grab my Master Your Emotions 5 Simple Steps to Regulate and Reclaim Your Calm guide. It is packed with strategies to help both neurodivergent and neurotypical family members navigate emotions together. And just remember here, you don't have to fix anyone. No one's brain is broken. You just need the right strategies to make sure that everyone feels supported. If this episode connected with you and helped you, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who may need to hear this message. The more people who hear it, the more people we can help. And don't forget to grab my free Master Your Emotions guide. The link is in the show notes, and I will talk to you again soon.